What's up, guys? See the cards here with another video. Guys, something a bit different today. So a person in the UK RIFTBOUND Discord, shout out, is it Doggo? He suggested I do a tier list out of all these seals, and I thought, you know what, that's a great idea. I thought to myself, you know, how many sealed products are there so far? Actually, there are quite a few. Of course, there are only 2 main sets, but there are quite a number of you know, ancillary products and things along that, and special products. So I thought I'd go ahead and do that, and so hopefully this video isn't too long. I mean, as you guys know, I always say that, and it ends up being like 20 minutes anyway. I kind of like that 25 to 30 minutes range, but hopefully it's not that long this time around. I mean, you guys will see once the video is out there. But guys, before I get to that, as usual, thank you so much for the support. I'm having a great time. I love the discussions back and forth in the Discord. So again, if you are in the UK, we do have a UK RIFTBOUND Discord. There we post links of stock. We just have a great chat about new sets, and we have vendors in the chat as well that also sell at retail when they do get restocks. And of course, when new sets come out, they get allocation from distributors, so they can then sell at retail. And it means you can just, you know, lock in your sets, your boxes ahead of time before the sets come out. So link is in the bio. Check that out, definitely. And yeah, so this is a bit of a different video for me. So, you know, in terms of when we look at a tier list, again, this is going to be subjective to me, but it's very much, would I want to collect it? Do I think it's a good item to get? Do I think it's a good set? You know, we'll also look at the price points as well. That's kind of how I like to gauge things, because as I've said before, I do very much think that the health of the secondary market of a TCG is very much correlated with the health of the TCG in general. You know, we are seeing things like Star Wars where it's absolutely plummeted to the ground and no one really cares anymore. So as much as, you know, you do have the audience that says, oh, we shouldn't really have a secondary market that's popping, but then at the same time, when one isn't popping or isn't having a good time in a secondary market space, that's usually an indication that there is something going on. If it's maybe too much supply of product, or there's just not demand, not much interest. So it is useful to watch this space. That's kind of why I'm here. Again, it is cool to see that your products go up in price, and, you know, things you have are going up in value, and it's cool to see, of course, the value of particular cards. And I've said it before, I'm very much fascinated around the price of cards as it relates to the depth of attachment you can get to a card. You know, if it's a Jinx card, or let's say a Kassadin card when it comes out, or a Z card, you know, it's the depth of attachment to that champion, and how, you know, the skill ceiling you have with that champion, all the thousands of hours you've played, all the different combinations of people in your team against and the enemies, people in the enemy team, and just, you know, the multitude of team fights you could have. There's an attachment that comes with it, and then that's often reflected in the price point. And you know, we see it across mid lane, support, jungle, so on. So there is a difference in these price points. So I am fascinated in that. That's one of the reasons why I look at this. It's just cool. You know, I've played League of Legends for so many years. I haven't played in a few years now, since end of 2022, but I'm still very much in the space. And so I do like that there's a collectible space now that I can, you know, be engulfed in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go from left to right, and I'll just kind of give my opinion, and then I'll probably just share this. You can download this as well. So if you do want to perhaps buy things from this list I've sent, given, you know, it will be there. So let's start off with the thing, well, not what started all, but the, you know, set number 1, Origins. So before I do go ahead and give it a space, let's just walk into what Origins is. So of course, Origins is very much the very first set of RIFTBOUND. This is what came out end of October last year, and it is very much the introduction for most people into the RIFTBOUND TCG space. Personally, I think this has been a home run set. I think this shows the League of Legends brand in a very good light, as it relates to introducing people to, yeah, just the brand, and, you know, translating the League of Legends experience into a TCG format. For those that are new to League of Legends as a whole, of course, many people will come to this video for the first time, not even know much of RIFTBOUND. You've probably heard new TCGs popping, so and so. But, you know, League of Legends has been out for, I want to say it's in alpha since 2009, but really I think season 1 started in 2011. I can't encapsulate League of Legends in a small description, but effectively it's a 5v5 game. It's kind of, the objective is you start on one end of the map, your objective is to get to the other end of the map. And there's so many different characters you can use for that. But this game has been around for so long, and this is, you know, they've done such a fantastic job in translating that experience over to a card format. And of course, with that comes the desire to collect it. So, you know, just looking at some of the characters, like, again, I would, if I maybe, it may not be worth me even bringing up the full list, but if I go ahead and just pull up the showcase from high to low. I mean, you can sort of pause the video here and kind of take a look at these champions, but you know, we have Kaisa, you know, of course, for those that do know League of Legends, we have Kaisa, Ahri. I mean, Ninetales Fox, such a gorgeous depiction of Ahri. I think they've just done a really fantastic job in kind of, you know, they what I really appreciate is that they gave their artists such creative freedom to just, you know, create gorgeous depictions of the characters. We have the Ninetales Fox Ahri overnumbered. We have the Yasuo overnumbered, and I think this one alone here kind of sets in stone what Origins is, and kind of it's how do I say it? It's such a stunning card that encapsulates Yasuo in one picture and kind of sets the tone for Origins in general in terms of the creative freedom, the art direction, the art expression that they've given their illustrators. So, you know, we have Leona, again, absolutely gorgeous card. Lee Sin, Victor, even though it's not Machine Herald Victor, of course, for those that have been around for so long, it is the Arcane Victor. It is still nonetheless a very gorgeous card. And for example, Misfortune as well. There's so many other cards. There's Teemo, there's Volibear. But you know, they've done such a good job in translating the League space into the TCG and into the TCG space, and have shown League of Legends in such a good light. So I think this has been a home run in terms of price points right now. You know, this has been up for close to 6 months now. Close to 6 months. What am I saying? Yeah, close to 6 months actually. I mean, it came out end of October, so that's November, December, January, February. Okay, no, about we're coming up to 5 months. What am I saying? And we are looking at about $300 on the side of US. We have had reprints, so it is now going up. It is now going down. A case is about 1.7k in dollars. That's a pack of 6, and again, there is always usually a premium. Here there is a bit less, but we have seen sales of like 1.9k. And again, to be fair, this is quite an old sale. So we have seen cases at 1.9, 2k. So again, there's usually a premium as it relates to the boxes. In the UK, I'm in the UK, I always like to look at both. Looking at about £160. Again, if you are on UK Discord, you can find, we do send links so you can get it cheaper. But on eBay, we're looking at 160. And in terms of a case, again, there is usually is a bit of a premium. We're looking at about 1,050. We're seeing also 1,200, 1,000. We're seeing a whole fluctuation in that space, but there is effectively a premium as it relates to trying to get things at the case level. But going back to the tier list, so I will be, you know, I'll be honest, so I'm gonna play, this can change, especially as new sets come out. For now, I'm gonna put this as S tier. Personally, I'm gonna put it as S tier for the sole reason that they've done such a good job in translating the, I want to say, I think one key thing that's very important, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is the depth of attachment a character has to that champion. And not only that, they've managed to capture the essence of that champion in such a good light for basically all of the champions in this original set. You know, we see this Yasuo here easily. If anyone who recognizes the Yasuo has played this game, they look at this Yasuo and they instantly they draw up the thousands of hours that either as a Yasuo player you've played as him, or the many times you've played against him, the many times a Yasuo on your team has won for you, the many times we've seen Yasuo in pro play, not back in the day. You know, just there's so much that comes to mind straight away from seeing this one card. It just captures it in such a good light. They've done that again for so many different cards. Ahri, for example, Leona, gorgeous. You know, just Targon, and kind of just there's so much that it says without saying things. You know, there's Lee Sin, there's Volibear, Teemo, the Menace. You know, Jinx. Again, this is more Arcane Jinx. This isn't so much the OG Jinx that we know, but it still shows Jinx in a great light. So I think personally, I am happy to place this as S. This could change as time goes on because there will be many more sets that come out. But I think for now, Spirit Forge has done a fantastic job in in representing League of Legends and you know, the League of Legends brand. So we have then next Spirit Forged. So of course, Spirit Forged being the second set of Riftbound. Again, very different set. This set very much focused on the Spirit Blossom line from League of Legends. So again, for those that don't know, there are many different alternative skin lines that you have in League of Legends, where effectively, you know, you can pay extra money to dress your character up in a different skin, different set of clothing. And you know, we have, you know, from this line, crazy cards. I mean, we have this gorgeous Ahri card, we have the Irelia card, we have this Teemo card, we have this absolutely mesmerizing Bard card. They really hit the nail with this Bard card. It's so gorgeous, so gorgeous. They have the Irelia card. These other cards cool. They have a few other cool cards. Ezreal, this Draven is pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of the two-tone, as I mentioned before. In some cases, Ezreal here is fine because you can see his face very clearly. Draven here, his face is very muted in with the purple background. Fiora looks great as well. This Darius Sign card looks fantastic. Lucian looks dope, and even the basic cards as well all looks dope. But even this basic, what, $2 card, like 6 more vodka, like the Riot Games has partnered up with such a great illustration team. 6 more vodka is absolutely doing a fantastic job. And so of course this set has just come out. It came out last month. We are looking at, in America, demand is so high in America that, you know, we are seeing above retail. We're looking at $160 in America for a case, again above retail, about 1.1k. So very much that premium, bit of a slight premium. In the UK, we're seeing it actually below retail. There is so much stock in the UK that at this point it is now below retail. Of course, vendors and LGS are still going to make some money. That's not an issue, but we are seeing about £110, which is kind of what you were seeing for Origins if you managed to get some before launch. And again, I've seen about £800 for a case. But Spirit Forge has dipped down a bit as well. And again, there's just so much of it to go around, and there's just not enough demand just yet. People are still heading into the Riftbound space, and again, I'm sure many of you watching this video would then enter for the first time as well. So, you know, my opinion of this set. So I do think it's I think it's a good set. I think I don't want to say okay. I want to say between good and, you know, above okay. The reason why I say that is, so of course they have, as you can see here, they're very much focused on the Spirit Blossom skin line for League of Legends for many of these characters. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's very good, and I expected this to happen, and I do want this to happen more, in that I want them to have sets where they focus purely on one skin line. There are so many skin lines you can do. I don't even want to start listing. There's so many skin lines in League of Legends. It's amazing. Again, this game's been out for, you know, basically over 15 years. There are so many skin lines that they have. My gripe is that these overnumbered feel flat. That's me personally. You know, looking back to Origins, you know, we see Yasuo, like here there's so much depth to the artwork. You can see that Yasuo kind of pops out from the screen. Same with Jinx here, Kaisa as well. I mean, Ahri as well. Even though this is a bit more of a drawing, you can tell there is still kind of that separation between Ahri and the background. Leona here is clear as day. For example, Misfortune, Victor. But for Spirit Forge, it just feels flat. It feels flat. So my issue here is that I feel as though, you know, there's nothing wrong with it being a skin line, and I do hope we see more skin lines. I just feel like the artists weren't given as much creative freedom. You know, it sounds weird to say, but I feel like with Origins, each character was in their own universe and kind of how it was depicted. And here it feels like they were kind of trying to slap them all in the same world in a sense. And I don't know how to explain it, but to me it feels quite flat. Now we have heard rumors that, you know, Origins had the set A team, the A team for illustration, and Spirit Forge had the B team, and then Unleashed will have an A team, and it'll kind of go back and forth like that. Now, of course, I don't know that for sure. I have heard things like that. If that is the case, it kind of makes sense why these are a bit more flat. And again, with the legend over numbers kind of being this two-tone, it does feel a bit rushed. But, you know, I think ultimately when it comes to the tier list, I would have to mark this personally. This is just me personally as a C tier. Me personally. Now, that's also because I'm not the biggest Ionia person. Like, I do like Ionia, but I'm not crazy Ionia. I do think the Ahri card is gorgeous. Of course, it is more like, you know, they know what they're doing. This Irelia card is gorgeous. The Teemo card is very cool. Bard is gorgeous. Irelia is gorgeous. You know what? I think for now I'll put it as B tier. I think it's not super exciting. Put it as B tier. I'm sure as more sets out, and maybe I'll put more sets come out, I might push it down to C tier. But I think right now I'm quite happy to put it as B tier. Moving on, so we have then the Riftbound trial decks, and again these are a matter of collectability. Are these cool? So of course the 2025 Riftbound trial deck is effectively the exact same as Origins. You had 4 decks. You had Jinx, Victor, Lee Sin, and Volibear, and effectively it's the exact same as what you have in Origins, except it says sample, because these are very rare. There aren't many out there, and we do also have one in Chinese as well, the equivalent in Chinese, and it's very much the case of, you know, just having the leader stamp, sample stamp. So I do think this is very cool. I would recommend, if I don't have the disposable money on hand, to get one of these. They are sitting at around $675. You can probably throw an offer, best offer, as you see in Chinese, by $350. Probably make an offer as well. So I think these are great. Once these are gone, they're just gone, you know. So what would I place these? I'd place these as probably, I mean, I'd probably place them at C. They're not that cool to collect. Like, it is cool, but I don't know. It just says sample. I mean, they are rare. It just says sample, to be honest. So again, it's not. I'm not so much looking at the price point of like, you know, how far these can go in the future in terms of price point. It's just more, how cool of a collectible is this? And so while it is rare, and that definitely adds to the collectability aspect of it, I think it's just an okay thing to collect. Moving on to Arcane. Okay, so Arcane, they did great on this. They did do great, and this is still gorgeous box set. Like, I still have a bunch. Like, I got 9 in total. I have 9 in total, I'll be honest. I bought 3 on my account. I asked my little brother to let me use his account. I gave him the money. I asked my friend as well. I wanted as many as I could. Why? Well, because I actually planned to initially buy the Chinese. So again, I've been looking at the Riftbound space for a while, you know. And last year I was watching the Chinese Arcane version go up from like £100 to like £200, £300, £400, and I was like a day away from like saying, you know what, whatever, they're not releasing an English one, I'll just buy this Chinese one. And then they said, you know what, we're gonna release an English one. And I said, you know, thank goodness, because not only did it mean that I didn't have to spend $475 or, you know, £400 on the Chinese version, but it also meant that I could buy a bunch of the English one, because actually the English one was priced at £65 retail. And I know that sounds crazy to those that are coming into the space now, because we're seeing, you know, this is $189 in the US. In the UK, it's about £200. You know, at its peak in pre-orders, it was around £350. It was looking crazy. But, you know, I decided, well, if I was going to spend £400 on like one, I might as well buy as many as I can in English. So I ended up getting 9 because they were £65 each, really cheap. Gorgeous. I didn't realize, of course, I thought it was going to come in this box. This showed up, absolutely gorgeous. I said, you know what, I can't even open it now, it's so gorgeous. So I'm actually working to get some acrylic cases for them. If you guys don't know, I do sell some acrylic cases for Riftbound. I don't have any, there's some near there, but I don't even want to get off my seat. The link is in the bio if you do want to check it out on eBay. And I do plan to get some made for this as well, just trying to figure out, as I mentioned before, where best to get the money from to buy it. But again, the cards are gorgeous. Here is an example of the cards in Chinese. And the reason why I particularly mentioned the Chinese one here is that if you notice, the borders are slightly different to what we have now. So the English version is very much in line with the Riftbound banner and, you know, sort of UI profile. Whereas the Chinese one is very different. It's more in line with the Project K line, and we'll get to it again. You know, we're about 20 minutes so far. I don't want to keep it, make the video too long, but you know, it's more in line with the Project K sort of design. So, You know, in terms of Arcane, I would place the English for sure as an A. I think it's gorgeous. I'd say buy what you can if you have the money. I'd put the Chinese in B, more so mainly because one, it's a bit more pricier, and two, I've mentioned it before. You know, if you look at Japan, for example, and China, you know, Japan. I think China. An issue with China is that it doesn't really have that soft power in terms of culture. And what I mean by that is, you know, we have in Japan, we have anime, you have Pokemon, you have a number of things that makes it kind of cool in quote marks to want to collect things in Japanese. In Chinese, you don't have that, so it's hard to then say, let's go out and grab the Chinese version. Of course, if you want the Chinese version, chances are you want it because it has a different sort of banner and display. But if not, then it's really hard to kind of recommend someone to go grab the Chinese version. So that's why I'd probably put the Chinese version in B. It's still very, very dope. These are all gorgeous cards, and again, it would be great to have them in either English or Chinese. Of course, English just happens to be the cheap one right now. So going to Worlds, and again, definitely purchase if you want to, but definitely the easier choice is the English Arcane as well. And again, that will most likely be worth more in the future as well, just because the demand will be there more on a global level. So on the side of Worlds, I don't think this is that cool a box. I have one. I bought two initially, one for myself, one for my sister-in-law. I just don't think it's that exciting of a set. It was, of course, you know, commemorating the 2025 League of Legends World Championships. It was a great championships. Again, T1 won 3 times in a row. That was great. But this doesn't have much. It has the playmat's very cool. The Teemo card's pretty cool. The large arenas, battlefields, they're pretty cool. It's just not enough to warrant, in my opinion, $350. It's a lot right now. In the UK, it's not as expensive. We're looking at about $200-ish. This is a bid. This was buy now. I just can't warrant $350. So what do I think? I think this is also a B tier, personally. There's just not enough inside it to warrant the price it has, personally. Okay, moving on to the big boy, Project K. Before I even do it, let me just throw this in at, I'm going to throw this in at A tier. I won't put this at S tier. But anyway, for those that don't know what Project K is, so of course we have what we know as Riftbound now, and if you notice, this does look very similar to the Riftbound 2025 trial deck. Project K was the original trial deck that came out in 2024, as I understand, in December. This was at a number of offline TFT events. For those that don't know, again, if you're new to this whole space, TFT is another League of Legends brand game. It's very much like an auto chess, tabletop chess game. It's a very dope game. I watch it most days of the week. If I'm not watching League of Legends, I'm probably watching TFT. Very, very dope game. But anyway, in the offline events there, they kind of showcased Project K, which would eventually become League of Legends. And this is effectively the holy grail of Riftbound. Why? Well, mainly because it has, one, it's so rare, and two, it has a very, very old UI and user interface. As you can see here, they have 4 decks: Jinx, Victor, Volibear, and Yasuo. And as you can see, this is Machine Herald Victor. Again, I do hope we see an overnumbered of Machine Herald. That would be great. But these cards are so rare to get. It's so dope. It is a piece of memorabilia, and you know, I understand that some of these pictures are taken from, some of these artworks are taken from Runeterra, but still, I think it's very gorgeous and very awesome. I mean, these sell for a lot. We've seen some, you know, back in September, one sold for 12,000. We saw another one sell for 12,000 in January as well. It does fluctuate. This one here was the best offer for like 9,000. So it fluctuates up and down because there's so few in the market. But if you do try to get any right now, I mean, this guy here has a listed for 40,000. He's not interested in them. I've spoken to him before. He wants nothing less than 25k. He received a $20,000 offer at one point. He's like, I'm in no rush to sell it. It's just there. You do also have the Chinese version as well. Again, very rare. For those that don't know, of course, in the UK Riftbound Discord, I did give away the trial decks within the set of 4 trial decks in the Chinese version. I did have one of these. I gave this like way early, back in like August last year. So before the game came out, did a bunch of giveaways. And yeah, it's a great item. You know, they are getting a lot more expensive now. They are $800. So yeah, very, very expensive. I would place the English at A, and I'd probably place the Chinese at B personally. But if, again, it's just so expensive. There is bet you can, better use for your money. If you're gonna put $12,000 in this trial deck, probably just buy a bunch of cases of origins, or just buy other things really. But this will know that be a holy grail at some point when the game is very popular. This will be something to buy and something to grab. So yeah. Moving on to Proving Grounds. Again, so Proving Grounds, for those who don't know, this was supposed to be an introductory item to make it easy, as it says here, easy to learn. It has Master Yi, it has Lux, Garen, and Annie. It's supposed to be very much an informative introductory item. League of Legends and Riot Games being Riot Games, this ended up having some of the strongest champions, some of the strongest legends in the game, notably Master Yi, and it has really strong cards, notably Flash. So this then made the price climb like crazy. This was retail at $30 and £30, and we are seeing $215, £130. It's a shame. Now, I think this is a cool piece of memorabilia. This is why I have one as well. Luckily, I got it at retail. But in terms of collectability, I would put it at a B. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool box to have. I would recommend spending £200 in it or $20. There are reprints coming out here, so I'd probably say grab those. I wouldn't buy it at $215 or £130. But it is a cool item to collect. Keep an eye out for the restocks. Definitely grab that if you can. So, okay, the last three items, we have the 2 Nexus Knights and we have the Lunar Reveal. Straight away, you guys, it's gonna be a weird one. I am gonna put this as an A tier, the Origins Nexus Knights. So for those that don't know, again, as a way to boost engagement at local game stores, of course, League of Legends promotes, Riot Games promotes Nexus Knights in that they give the LGSs this kit which contains packs, and in those packs you do have the chance to get this grail of a card, GG Easy Teemo. Now for those that will probably look away, maybe watching, just listening as they come out to this video, if you've not seen it, if you're new to the space, pause this video and just look at this card. This card is this is basically one of the holy grails of cards in Riftbound at the moment, because it just encapsulates the League of Legends experience so succinctly and so well. And Teemo, love or hate, it's Teemo. So this is of course, it has dipped quite a bit, but nonetheless, you do still have a chance to get Teemo. It is very much out of print. Spirit Force Nexus Knights is in play, so they're not printing any more Origins. So once it's effectively gone, and so I think personally this is I think it's a cool thing to be able to have, just because Teemo's in it. It's not exciting, like visually it's not exciting, but you have the chance of Teemo. Spirit Forge, I think it's pretty silly. I'm going to put Spirit Forge actually at like E tier personally. I think it's pretty silly that people are putting this on the market already, because there's nothing to, there are cards from Proving Grounds they've printed in this to allow people to get cards that are really important for the game, like Flash, and again the legends like Yi, Lux, and so on. So, but it's just not really a cool collectible to have, so I'm going to place that at E. And then lastly, we have the new Lunar Reveal card. I didn't manage to get this box. Same for Spirit Force at the Riot merch. I tried twice, didn't get it. I would place this. An Irelia card is cool, but I'm not the biggest Irelia collector. But I would place this at C personally. So that's the tier list. I will save and download this, and I'll share this in the bio. Let me know your thoughts. Again, I'll probably do this more as we get more and more sets, more and more cool items and cool sort of sealed products. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in this list. How would you list things? And like, comment, subscribe as usual, and I'll catch you soon. Thank you.